Hi and welcome to another 10x leadership video. This week I'm going to be talking you through a video I've been looking forward to making for some time. I was reflecting on what we've talked about so far on this channel. There's been obviously an awful lot about leadership because that's what the channel's all about. But what I haven't talked about so far is what a great leader looks like. And that's what this video is about, so I'll see you after the break. So as I say, this video is all about what does a great leader look like, and fortunately there is a great book that I read many years ago that helps define what that is. And in that book they talk about level 5 leaders. So this week's video I'm just going to talk you through, give you a summary of what a level 5 leader is, signpost you to where you can go and get more information, and I suppose ask you whether you think you're a level 5 leader or what you need to be doing to get yourself to become a level 5 leader. So the level 5 leader is described in a book by Jim Collins called Good to Great. And I say it's one of my favourite books, one of my favourite leadership books. It's all about companies, really well-known companies that were already good companies, and then it's about how they went from being good to being great, hence the title of the book. And Jim Collins did a load of analysis and summarised what it was about those companies that made a difference, and it was the leader, and he coined the phrase level 5 leader. So I'm just going to talk you through now the seven qualities that he found from all of his research and investigation into those companies that turned them from good to great. So here we have a leader. What are the 7 qualities that will make them absolutely great? So the first one, and this might be a surprise to people, is humility. I think lots of people think that great leaders are big, bold, loud leaders that command attention. What Jim found was that it wasn't even most. What he found was that leaders in great companies have humility. They are modest, they don't seek the limelight. They're not, in fact, he describes them as when you go into a room and the leaders are in there, you don't necessarily know who the leader is, because what they're doing is they are helping everyone in the organisation, in the company, be their best, contribute to the organisation, and they don't see themselves as any more important than anyone else. And if you lead like that, you'll very rapidly get a team of people around you who think in the same way, who they are there to help the company succeed or the organisation succeed. They're not looking to make themselves look good, and because of that the right things get done. So humility, a really, really important attribute. The second is what's described as a fierce resolve, so a sort of relentless determination to do the right thing to succeed. It's almost, other people might sort of describe it as like a steel core where, despite all of the challenges and problems that the individual or the company may face, there's this sort of resolve to make sure that they get to where they want to get to. And a lot of that as well is about focusing on the long-term vision. Lots of organisations, I think I've talked about this before, but lots of organisations have got a cult of busyness. So they're really good at looking busy and being busy, but not necessarily being effective. And companies and organisations that are busy are usually ones that are busy doing things that they're reacting to. And of course, all they ever do is react to the things that are there in front of them. Some people describe it as, dealing with the crocodile nearest to the canoe. And the problem with that is you're always in, firefighting mode. Whereas leaders in great companies were ones that focused on the long-term vision, and they were unwavering in their commitment to achieving it. So again, whatever got in their way, they didn't just back down and go, okay, well, that's it, I'm beaten. They made sure that they got to where they wanted to get to. And that doesn't have to mean it was a direct path. It might be a bit of a circuitous route to get there, but they had an absolute determination and resolve to get to where they wanted to get to as an organisation. Again, don't mix that up with, them being a sort of person who's trampling over everyone, because again, this is, all of these things are connected and linked, and all of them were the traits, the 7 traits that he found that made the leader great and made the organisation great. So if you had somebody who was just looking after themselves with their determination, that wouldn't fit with the humility. The third one is that they are visionary. They are future oriented and strategic. And again, I've seen lots of leaders who, they're really focused on delivering the now. And that's great. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's only going to get you so far. In fact, when I say it's great, what it is it's good. And if you want to be good, that's fine. That might be enough. But to be a great leader and to lead a great organisation, you need to be thinking beyond that. So getting away from this constant reactionary activity, the crocodile nearest the canoe, it's dealing with things and helping shape the future and where you want to get to. So it's seen beyond the immediate challenges, as it says there, and I suppose identifying and seeing that there are greater opportunities out there. And we've talked before in one of the earlier videos about understanding yourself, understanding your personality types. There are lots and lots of leaders out there who are detailed people. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be a great leader, being a detail person and only operating in the detail space where you're not looking at the bigger picture, you're not looking at the opportunities, you're not looking at the strategic possibilities, you're only going to get so far. And again, just, you can go back and look at the video. I think it's video 2 or 3. If your personality type is somebody who's good at the detail, that does not mean that you can't do the big picture stuff. It just means it doesn't come as naturally. So, don't think that if you're a sensing type person in Myers-Briggs that you can't do this stuff. You can. It's just that you need to know that that's the sort of thing that will help you become a great leader, rather than focusing on all the detail, and all the things that are immediate. You've got to deal, we've all got to deal with immediate activities. We've still got to, deliver what we're supposed to deliver, but you've got to have an eye on both. And Jim Collins, I was going to say, suggests, he says that the great leaders were ones that focused on the future, the strategy. They could see things, they could see opportunities that perhaps others couldn't, and they went for them. The other thing is having the right people around you. So they focus on the right people, they focus on the right team in order to succeed. So, we've all had people in our teams that might be great people, but they might not be the right fit for where you're trying to get to. And again, if you're looking to try and be a great leader and have a great team within a great organisation, you've got to make sure you've got the right people around you with the right skills. And that doesn't mean just having people who are like you, because as we know, the more diverse a team is, the better you're going to be at problem solving, the more likely you are to come up with better solutions. So it's not about just having the same people, it's having the right people, and also making sure that they have the right skills. And again, I suppose that links back to the humility. You might be a great leader, you might be brilliant at certain things, but we're all not going to be brilliant at everything. So there will be things that somebody else is better at than you. And if that's a skill that's needed to take your team to the next level and make them great, that's the sort of person you want in your team. You need to tap into their brilliance, their expertise, their skills, their knowledge, their motivation, their behaviours. Tap into that, get them as part of the team, fill in all the gaps, where you and others, have weaknesses. Make sure that, you fill those with the people who have those skills. The other bit is that they are catalysts. They're catalysts for change. They drive transformation and they push the organisation to new heights. And they're not afraid to disrupt the status quo. So again, lots of leaders will, especially if they come into a team that's performing well, they'll think, okay, well, all I need to do is maintain it and keep it ticking over. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be a great leader and you want the organisation or your team to be a great team, sometimes you have to break what's already working to make it even better. And you see this with golfers spring to mind. Sometimes you've got golfers or tennis players who have been coached in a certain way for years, and they've reached a great level of, or a good level of success. And then in order to get to the next level though, and to get sort of true greatness, what they have to do is stop doing it the way that they used to do it and do things differently. And of course that feels like you're going backwards, and you will be to begin with. But if that means that you're going to be even better, that's the right thing to do. And great leaders can see that, and they unpick things where it needs to be unpicked with the view that we've got to change this, because that's the only way we're going to get to where we need to be, which links back to the visionary piece on the left hand side. So the next one is about being disciplined, and it's about leaders, great leaders, instilling a culture of discipline and consistency. So it's about everyone understanding what the role is, what their objectives are, what the organisation and team's objectives are, and being behind them, getting behind them, and being disciplined about delivering them. So as you heard in the one of the previous videos about the ladder of accountability, it's one thing recognising that you need to do something, it's another thing actually delivering that. So this is about being disciplined and making sure that those things that you say you're going to do as a team, you are going to be doing. And it is about setting high standards for the team, for you, and it's about all of you making sure that you deliver on those. And again, I've talked about this in previous videos about role modelling behaviours. It's no good you just saying to other people, well, you need to meet these standards if you're not doing it yourself. It's no good to you saying that you've got certain behaviours in the team if you then go and do the complete opposite. So it's about being disciplined to make sure that you are doing what you said you were going to do, and that you're setting the standards really, really high. Because again, that's the only way you're going to get to be a great leader and have a great team and great organisation. And the last one is about being realistic. And Jim found that leaders, great leaders in great organisations, they just confronted the brutal facts of their current situation or position. But that didn't stop them believing in the vision and, being a catalyst for change and heading towards where they needed to head towards, because they knew that that was the right thing to be doing. But it was about having a culture where you're allowed to be honest and truthful and transparent about what the challenges are. And again, for me, this comes back to the ladder of accountability we talked about in a couple of videos ago. If you haven't seen it, by the way, go and have a look. Great video. It's about recognising that there's a problem and wanting to do something about it. You can't do something about a problem unless you've been realistic and you've recognised and you've talked about there being an issue in the first place. And we see this a lot, especially when organisations or teams are going through change. It's easy to sort of gloss over the problems. We all go through the change curve, go at various speeds. Sometimes each of the stops in that are really quick, sometimes they're much longer, but pretending that people aren't struggling as they're going through that change curve doesn't make any sense. Being realistic, recognising that people are struggling, talking to people about how it's okay not to be okay, is one of the ways in which you can face up to those facts and then do something about it. And of course, if you're going to be a great leader in a great organisation, it's not just going to be people's feelings as you go through the change curve that are going to be some of the facts you have to face up to. There's a whole load of things, but getting them out on the table, talking about them, not being afraid of them, I suppose, is the other thing. And again, I see lots of that where people think that teams and individuals are going to be demotivated if you talk about those things. My experience is that if you do talk about them, you're much more likely to motivate people, because you are being honest and transparent, and that sort of honesty, authentic leader type approach, I think makes a massive difference. You get much more trust. There's also an element of, I suppose, vulnerability there, isn't there, for everyone involved. And again, lots of people think that that's a weakness and it isn't something that should be shown. But again, I've experienced it. Lots of other leaders have as well. Lots of studies have shown that leaders who are vulnerable, who are showing their vulnerability, they are seen as stronger. Their teams are much more likely to bond and want to help deliver the vision that they've come up with. So there's a great deal to be said for being realistic, being honest, being transparent. And again, don't just take my word for it. Jim Collins has written his book. It's sold millions and millions of copies. He has researched this, and this is what he's found. So really, this is the video. This is what a great leader looks like in my eyes, and that's based on the work that Jim Collins has done. So what? Well, for me, it's about understanding all these things. It's about understanding what a good leader looks like, a great leader looks like, and trying to do those things. So, my question to you is, is this you already? Which of these things are you doing? What do you still need to work on? And in terms of working on these things, there are lots of ways of doing it. You could seek out people, couldn't you, in your organisation, or that that you recognise are doing these things. I mean, if you're lucky enough to have somebody that is doing these things, absolutely fantastic. You could talk to them, couldn't you, and ask them if they were prepared to coach or mentor you. And given how how they use humility, and they're keen on getting the right people and developing people, they might well say yes. I mean, an even better thing to do, of course, would be going and working for somebody like that, and then you can learn directly from them rather than just being, mentored by them. I hope you found that useful as ever. As you can hopefully see, this is fascinating to me. I think this is the leader that I want to be. I've been working hard for many years on trying to do lots, if not all, of these things. I'm good at some of them. I'm not good at all of them. I'm still working on plenty of things. So, this is where we're aiming for. Don't be daunted if you're just starting your leadership journey. You don't have to be a great leader overnight, nor will you be, in all likelihood. But this is the destination. So keep reflecting on how you're doing against these things and keep working on it. The other thing I'd recommend is get a copy of Good to Great. I'm going to put a link in the description. So there's a link to Amazon. You can still get it on there. That's an affiliate link. So if you click on it and buy, I'll get a few pennies for the channel to keep it going. I'm also going to put a link in there to World of Books. So there's some second-hand books, second-hand versions that you can get as well. That's not an affiliate link. It's not really about the money. It's about helping you get the information you need. So I've summarised what a great leader looks like, but you're going to get much more detail and much richer picture, or a richer picture even, if you read the book. So go off and do that. Go and hunt out the quiet leaders. You might want to avoid the big noisy ones because they're not doing the great things. They might be doing the good things, but they're certainly not going to be doing the great things. Go and seek them out because they might be quite difficult to find, but they're probably going to be some of the greatest leaders in your organisation or company. If you like this video, please share it, please like, please subscribe, please comment. Let me know how you've used this. Let me know whether you agree with it. Again, share it with your friends, share it with your colleagues. I'm just trying to get the message out to as many people as we can about how to be a great leader, mainly because there are so many poor leaders out there, and we can really make a difference to our lives and everyone else's lives. That's it for this week, and I hope to see you in the next video. Thank you very much for tuning in.